You're listening to the Sky Lifestyles Coaching Series, helping men all around the world to attract and connect with women on level few men will ever experience. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and visit us at CoreySky.com.
All right, guys, here we are, episode number 19 of the world-famous Chick Whisperer Show. Got a huge show for you today. We're going to be dealing with a topic that literally every guy seems to ask me. They seem to ask me this. They seem to ask everybody I know who is my peer in this quote-unquote dating guru or whatever you want to call it world that we live in, the seduction community, whatever you want to call it. Every guy has this question. They always say, Scott, what do I do next? It doesn't matter what point you are in terms of meeting women, getting to know women. You can have her naked in your bedroom, and you're probably still going to ask me, if you're like most guys, Scott, what do I do next? Well, let me tell you something. This is a huge question, and I got an equally huge personality to come in here and help tackle it with me. My guest today was recently called one of the top 10 pickup artists in the world by a major prominent blogger. His name is Corey Sky. He's from Florida, and I welcome him to the show. Corey, what's up, man?
Not too much, man. How you doing, Scott?
Doing good, doing good. How's life in sunny Florida?
No complaints.
Well, I tell you what, it's good to have you here on the show. We are going to talk not really about teaching guys what to say next or what to do next. We're going to cure them of ever asking that question. Right on?
Yep.
So I think the best place to start here is with a voicemail. And this voicemail comes to us from the great state of Indiana, basketball country, right? And this is coming from Dave. Here we go.
Hi, Scott. You can just call me Dave, and this question is coming from Indiana. Here's my question. I'm currently seeing someone in a new relationship. Let's just call her Jill. Right from the beginning, I was honest and upfront about not seeking a committed relationship. Recently, I've had a few other ladies qualify themselves to me and really spark my interest. Jill told me she wears her heart on her sleeve, and she also mentioned that she falls fast for guys. Now, here's my question. How can I communicate that I'm interested in seeing other women and still preserve my value in the eyes of Jill? Is it even possible? Are there any tips or techniques I can use to kind of soften the new? She's a high-quality woman, and I really enjoy her femininity, so I'm trying to keep that in mind. One last thing that will kick the difficulty of this question up is that Jill and I have had sex a couple times. I know it's a good idea to communicate this type of thing right off the bat, but what if things don't progress in a linear way? This question was meant for the Chick Whisperer podcast. Thanks again for the great show, Scott, and keep up the good work.
Well, Corey, there you go, man. That's a high-quality problem, as I like to call them around here. This is a real barn burner that Dave's got going on, huh? What do you say?
Oh, yeah. I hear it all the time.
So he's got himself a woman he thought he liked a good bit, but he made it perfectly clear to her up front, hey, you know what? I think I don't really want an exclusive relationship right now. I don't really need a steady girlfriend. But he really also sort of wasn't really dating other people. And then finally, he had a couple women catch his eye, and he's thinking, well, you know what, I think I might want to make good on that threat, or whatever you want to call it, to go date some other women. And now he's got to kind of go back to the well and tell this woman, yeah, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and date some other women after all, just like I told you up front. But the complication now is that she really likes him. She's getting feelings, it sounds like, and they've done the wild thing a couple times. It's kind of like his words said one thing, but his actions early on there said another, right? Because he was saying, hey, look, I really don't want an exclusive relationship. But then he kind of went through the motions, it sounds like, of kind of heading her down the primrose path a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right, right. But I think that's where society comes in, because I feel that society teaches us to do that. It's really tough to have a mindset thinking that it's okay to date multiple women, because it's so looked down upon in society.
Right. Yeah.
But there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with dating multiple women.
That's right.
If you're completely honest about it.
That's true.
And women do not look down upon you for that. All it will do is make you want them more.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, you know, here he says, I think I want to date some other women, but when those women don't really exist yet, they're kind of pie in the sky, that sounds to a woman like, okay, he just wants to take things slow. That's guy speak for, I don't want to jump in. Let's get to know each other a little bit here and see how it goes. But the woman's thinking to herself, well, this guy is into me. He's probably coming to see her a lot, spending a lot of time together, calling her on the phone because she's the only woman in his life at that point.
Right.
Now, when these other women come along, he's saying to himself, all right, well, you know what? I've been honest. It's time for me to go out and play the field some. Hey, baby, I'm going to go out and play the field some. And she's going to go, well, where did this come from? And he's going to go, well, I was honest all along. But see, again, it's the words saying one thing and the actions saying another. And, I mean, Corey, women are famous for speaking in code. And I think a lot of women think that we're kind of wired the way they are, and we're just not.
Isn't that the truth?
Wow, it really is. So, I don't know. Dave, here's the thing. I think, as Corey, I'm sure, is about to tell you, a lot of this has to do with mindset from the beginning. If you're going to be a man with options, you must live your life like the man who's got the options now. Not only will that cure you of any kind of desperation or neediness, which doesn't sound like it's really an issue here for you, but maybe for some of the other guys listening, it certainly is. But it will also build into your life a level of congruence, consistency, and dare I say character, where that woman knows she can trust who you are from the very beginning. And that is what is most important to women, isn't it, Corey?
Definitely. When if you start off and you're trying to be somebody that you're not in the beginning, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. If it doesn't fail within the first couple of weeks, it will within the first couple months. The biggest thing is really showing a woman that you are a real person. Be genuine, be authentic, be real. There's no point in trying to be somebody else with anybody, especially women.
Yeah, guaranteed. And see, it kind of goes back to the main point of our show today. Guys will say, well, what do I do next? Well, here's a guy, it isn't like he's in a bar, there's an attractive woman across the room, and he's like, well, Scott, Corey, what do I say to her? How do I meet her? This guy's met her. He's gotten to know her. He's gone out with her. He's already been intimate with her. And now he's coming to us saying, oh, my gosh, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's the Holy Grail. Why wait? Why keep everybody in suspense? This is the secret of what we're going to talk about today. The deal is, if you are really, honestly, authentically a man, well, we could probably put a period on the end of that sentence. But authentically a man who can get women based on masculinity, confidence, being a man of character, being that man who is so congruent, so comfortable in his own skin, so comfortable with doing what he says he's going to do because he knows not only that he is going to do the right thing, but that he's capable of acting on that. He's capable of doing the right thing. Knowing that a woman says, okay, you know what? I'm freed up to be the kind of woman I want to be. I can add joy and energy to a man's life. I can have that nurturing energy without having to watch my back because this guy's watching my back. Like I've said time and time again, women need to be protected, right? Women want a protector.
Yes.
Women need to be protected most from the guy they're with half the time. Mm-hmm. And if you're not saying to a woman, look, here's who I am. I'm masculine. I can make you feel as if everything's going to be okay. You're going to have a sense of comfort in my presence, knowing that what's going to happen is exactly as I say it's going to happen. If you can give a woman that kind of comfort, that's a great thing. Not to be confused with boring predictability, but that's like being the Rock of Gibraltar.
But you don't want to be confused with the arrogance either. Because
right.
I'm sure some people out there, think, well, be that confident, dominant male figure, be that man. Mm. Well, some people might interpret it like, well, that like they've got to put other people down to make themselves look better in front of their girl. And that is by far the wrong way to take this approach.
Yeah, well, you're going down a completely different rabbit hole than I even expected. That took an unexpected twist there. I'm thinking sorry. In terms of, well, no, that's a very good point. A lot of guys go, hey, look, I'm going to show off at the expense of my woman, showing every guy around what a stud I am. So I'm going to kind of mistreat her a little bit in public and be the bad boy. And, it's just like you call yourself, Corey. You're the bad boy with a heart. You can have a little bit a sense of adventure in your life and not necessarily be a guy who plays by all the nice, sweet little rules and keeping your hands folded all the time. Mm-hmm. But you don't take that out on a woman. You bring that woman along for the adventure and give her a nice, safe ride on that adventure.
Definitely.
So, I mean, yeah, right. So, I mean, here you got a woman, and if she doesn't know when to duck, you know, that's different than, of course, you beating on her or something like that, of being a blatant bad boy. But
right.
She's not going to be comfortable in your presence, even if she doesn't know when to trust you or when you weren't really telling the truth, when you were sort of kidding. When all that stuff starts running together and kind of melting together, the woman is going to get a little bit edgy about what's going on in the relationship.
Right. And that's exactly when women and guys have a tendency to go out and cheat and actually look for another partner, because they start losing that, you know, comfort, that security with the person that they're with.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy bad things happen at that point. But see, when you walk into a situation with a woman and you have the confidence to tell her the way things are going to be, and you have the self-esteem and the self-respect to believe that what you're telling her is the truth in your own mind, then that is the first step to really letting that woman know, hey, look, this is the way things are going to be. And like you said, Corey, this isn't about dragging her by the hair into the cave and dominating this woman. You have her best interest at heart, but you're a man, and you're a man who leads. Mm-hmm. Now, Dave, all that's long for we've got a copy of How to Manage Your Wildly Successful Dating Life, for being so kind as to send us that voicemail. Great, great question, one that a lot of guys deal with. And you've given me your email on that voicemail. I cut that part out, but I know exactly where to send that to you, and we will be sending that to you, because I have a feeling, man, you're going to be needing that book before long. How to Manage Your Wildly Successful Dating Life tells you how to pull together all these different women you're dating and manage that from a position of authenticity. So all you guys out there who are dealing with dating multiple women right now and wanting to get a better handle on it, that's the book for you. I don't think there's ever been another book written quite like it. These are guys who are already getting some success with women, and you can check that out at www.wildsuccess.net. And, oh, you know what? If you don't have a wildly successful dating life yet, this is all the 2020 foresight you're ever going to need. So check that out. And like I said, Dave, I'm going to be sending that out to you in the very near future. So, Corey, do guys come up to you and do they say, Corey, man, what do I do next?
Oh, yeah. Just about every day.
Just about every day. Same.
Yeah.
And what do you tell them?
Well, it depends on the guy. Is it a new guy asking me the question, or is it a guy that asks me the same questions, you know, what do I say over and over again? You know?
Well, here's how I would couch it. Fair enough. I would say, here's a guy who comes up to you, and he's perhaps not had a whole lot of success with women in the past, and he says, okay, Corey, I don't know how to approach women. Mm-hmm. What do I do? What do I say to her? Give me a pickup line, he might say, or give me a technique, give me something that I can use to help me create attraction with this woman.
And that's when I say it is not about what you say. It's about who you are.
I agree. And, you know, it's really curious because it doesn't matter at which point you need to say, what do I do now? The fact that you are needing to say, what do I do now, says to me that you have built your success with women, at whatever level it is right now, on techniques, on approaches, openers, whatever you want to call it, all those things rolled in together, that are building a house of cards for you that at some point is going to crumble. Because if you're relying on techniques and openers instead of being an authentic man who genuinely attracts women, there is going to be a point that you're going to have to say, oh my gosh, I've run out of game. I'm at my stopping point. I'm at the roadblock. I don't know what to do next. It can happen at the bar before you even know how to talk to a woman. A lot of guys, Corey, right? They talk to a woman, they open her, as they would say, and then they don't know what to say next.
Mm-hmm. Or they do for the next, 3 hours, and then the conversation goes stale and then they just realize that they talked just about the entire time, and she's not even interested in them.
Yeah, she's been filling time with the guy.
I mean, I see these guys all the time, you know, these so-called pickup gurus that, you know, claim to be great. And I watch them, and it seems like every time, you know, the woman will sit there and listen because she thinks it's purely amusing. But that's just depending on her situation. You know, if she's with a bunch of girlfriends, she's not going to think it's amusing, you know, but if she's sitting there with one of her other friends and, you know, two pickup gurus come up to him and catch him off guard, and one of them's just throwing the lines out there, she will stay there for a little bit. I've seen it. But at the end of the night, the girl looks at me and she walks away with me. You know, that's just...
Well, I mean, I think one of the things we forget is that we're human beings, and so are women. We're not so different. I mean, when we go to a car dealership, we know we're being sold a bill of goods, right? If the salesman just wants our money. These women know the same thing. When we go out with a gold digger, we know she just wants our money. She just wants another lobster dinner. You know, she's just, you know, going to kick the machine and hope a soda can comes out. And we're not excited about women like that. So the question is, what kind of guy is going to be able to put all of that stuff aside and truly be the kind of man who doesn't ever have to ask, what do I do next? Because it comes natural for him. That's what we're talking about here. What are some of the ideas you have on that, Corey? I
mean, ultimately, I mean, it is going to be your mindset. You will attract women into your life if you are that, you know, sexy guy. But you've got to start working on yourself before you can start trying to figure out, you know, what to say. Guys that come to me and say, what do I say? Well, I mean, it's completely, it's garbage is basically what it is. There's no reason that any guy shouldn't say, what do I say to her? I don't know what to say to her. If you have that, your inner game, sort of say, you're that correct, solid mindset, and you're actually comfortable in your own skin, that's when you're going to have to start having success with women. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny how a lot of guys can talk to anybody. You know, just like you and I are talking right now. We could be going out having a beer together right now, you and I, and we won't be at a loss for conversation. We're not going to be all wadded up in, oh my gosh, am I looking good? Am I looking like a dork? Do I look stupid in front of this guy you're hanging out with? We never think like that because we don't have an agenda with each other. We don't have an agenda with our bros. You know, we go out and ride motorcycles together, play some golf. It's just a bunch of guys hanging out. It's human beings interacting. When we're not so in awe of a woman's sexuality and the potential to enjoy that for ourselves, and we start seeing her as a human being and taking an interest in her, and, you know, I hope there's not a lot of guys out there who think we're going soft on them because of what the seduction community has taught about negging women. Guys, what a front. You're not supposed to get women to be attracted to you by not liking them. You know, we had this guy, it's like he goes into a restaurant and he says to the cute 23-year-old, oh, what are you, like 50? And he's thinking that's going to attract her? You know, I've seen this stuff happen. Guys, if you want to have a woman be attracted to you, you've got to be attractive. When was the last time you were disrespected, guys, and attracted to the situation? Answer me honestly. Who disrespects you and you go, man, I just got to get me some of that. Give me more. I want to be just like him. Can I sit at his feet and be his hero for a while? Doesn't happen. Listen to the words rolling off my tongue, guys. It's garbage, just like my man Corey said.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. It's absolute garbage. I mean, but the thing is, I mean, I have done this stuff. I haven't negged a woman. I never called it negging a woman. But here's the thing that you got to understand is all the stuff that is being taught in the community is basically guys that sat in front of their computer for all their life and then decided that they wanted to become good with women. So then they started going out and they kind of like tried overhearing and listening to conversations that guys like me and other naturals would have. And the thing that you got to understand is when I'm sitting there flirting with a girl, you know, we will kind of make little comments like, oh, what are you, like, you know, 18 or, you know, whatever. I mean, just silly stuff. I mean, what I'm saying to her and what she's saying to me is actually, it has no meaning whatsoever because there's already an attraction built. Now, what the community is doing, it's telling guys to go out there, and it's misleading guys into thinking that they can go out and do this with anybody. Well, no, you can't do that with just anybody. I mean, it's disrespectful, and it's a hump of garbage. You only do it with people where you can look at a girl and say, wow, you know the attraction is there. There's no question about it. That's the women that you can kind of flirt with and do this stuff with. But, I mean, the whole terminology that the community uses is absolute garbage.
I think so many guys want the practical. They want the objective things they're going to be able to do to get a woman to be attracted to them. Mm-hmm. And everything that really creates attraction is very subjective.
Yeah. Well, it's more emotional.
Yes, I agree. Right. But it's not something you can see. That's my point.
Right.
It's an intangible to guys who don't get it by watching it. If they're only going to get what they hear, then that's where they're going to go awry. Like, great example. Yes, if you are attracted to someone and she's attracted to you back, you can tease the hell out of each other. But you're not without a sense of where things are and you know where you stand with each other and there's a chemistry there. Then you can tease each other a little bit. But you don't ever say anything really hurtful. You say things that are playful.
But when you're in that moment, you're not going to be thinking about how to neg the girl or what you're saying. You're going to be in the moment.
Exactly.
Give that to the girl. Give her that. Be there. Be there with her. Stop thinking about the objective. Stop thinking about what's going to happen next. Give her that. Look into her eyes and show that unconditional love to her. Be there with her. Stop thinking about, well, am I going to kiss her now? Am I going to get into her bed? I mean, where's this going? Where's this not going? You should not be thinking about any of that. Just enjoy her beauty. Look into her eyes and enjoy her as a beautiful object. I mean, like if you're looking at, an example, you go up into the mountains and you're overlooking all the mountains and you're just like, wow, that's gorgeous.
I know what you mean. Yeah, you're not talking about treating her like an object. You're just you're
But
beholding.
it's just right. It's
not
really just
her.
You've got to be in the moment.
Right. You're not worshiping her. You're not putting her on a pedestal. She's no better than you. This is a moment that both of you deserve together. Mm-hmm. This is something that both of you have earned by being, in your case, a great man and her being an excellent woman. And that's, of course, because you didn't give your power away to her to begin with. Instead, you spent that time getting to know her because she's a human being. You're deciding whether she's good enough for you as much as you're potentially giving her notice that you're attracted to her. Mm-hmm. And, again, this isn't about arrogance. This is about just getting to know someone. Just about letting the moment happen. And you're so right, Corey. Guys are so wrapped up in their own head that they're not even thinking about the woman. They're not even noticing her, really. They're just saying, oh, my God, don't mess up, don't mess up. Mm-hmm. This goes all the way to the bedroom. We had a Virtuosity segment with Alex Allman, who we want to get on the show, by the way. And he was like, most guys think about sex, want sex. They get a woman naked in their bed and they don't even enjoy having sex with her. Mm-hmm. Because they're so worried about their own performance. They're so worried about whether they're going to give her an orgasm or not. Oh my gosh, am I going to come too soon? It's a never-ending thing, guys. If you're always in your own head wondering what you're going to say or do next, that is closely followed by, oh my gosh, I hope I don't mess up. And it will feed on itself all the way until you believe you've gotten to the finish line. And even when you're crossing the finish line in your own mind and you're about to finally have sex with this great-looking woman, you're still not going to be able to enjoy it.
No, because it just opens up another can of worms. That's all it does.
Right. That's right. It's like, I'm giving away my age here, but if you get on like TV Land and see the old Get Smart shows, and every time he opens a door at the beginning, there's another door right behind it, and he just keeps opening doors and opening doors and opening doors. It's just like the beginning of a blasted Get Smart episode. You know what I'm talking about? Guys just keep, okay, here's the deal. I finally got to where I can approach a woman. All right, now what? Well, you got to talk to her. All right, well, my name's Scott, and, I noticed you from across the room. I thought I'd come over and chit-chat with you. Oh, wow. She says, I'm so glad you came over and talked to me. My name is Vicky. Oh, God, now what? I already told her by name. What do I do now? Make a comment about something that's going on with her. Get her to talk for a while. Okay, so she talks for 10 minutes. How do I ask for her phone number, Scott? Say, hey, I've enjoyed this conversation. I kind of got to get back to my friends, and I think you need to give me some way that we can continue this conversation. All right, okay, cool. And you think to yourself, even as you tell the guy that, man, I sound like a pickup artist. Mm-hmm. When you're a pickup artist, okay, you have mastered the front end of the game. You have mastered the beginning part. You know how to meet women. Corey, you're a man who is an artist with women in general. You've mastered the whole thing. Mm-hmm. See, and that's the difference. You don't have to ask what to do next when you are a man who is enjoying the company of the woman. You're outside of your own head. You're considering her. You're learning more about her. Yeah, you're easygoing. You're not creepy. You know, you're not talking about your collection of human skulls you have in the basement or something crazy like that.
I'm just interested in her.
Yes.
I'm interested in learning more about her.
Do you even like women, guys? Do you think that there are obstacles in your way to getting some pussy?
Got a comment to make on that, because I work a lot of one-on-one with guys, and just about, a lot of my guys, most of my guys that I work with, and I do a lot of phone coaching in my workshops, and, with all the coaching that I've done, I see a commonality with a lot of guys. And just to, kind of clarify that, guys do have a sense of anger towards women. A guy that is 30 or 40 years old that is a virgin has a lot of anger towards women. Now, is that right? Is that fair? Not at all. It is not her fault that you didn't step up and be a man at a younger age. You can do it now. There is a way. You've got to learn how to believe in yourself. That's what it boils down to, guys, is your lack of belief in yourself. It's not the woman's fault. It's nobody else's fault. It's your fault, because you don't believe in yourself.
Well, blame isn't leadership.
Exactly.
Blame is passive activity. If you go through your entire life and it's at the whim of someone else's ill will towards you, that everybody else is keeping you down, the man's keeping you down, women are to blame for your lack of success with them, you're not a man who's leading. You're not a man who's in control of his own destiny. And you're certainly not a man who's going to attract women by saying, hey, look, I've got things handled. I've got a plan. I've got things under control. If you're not leading, the woman isn't following.
Well, I mean, and that goes into another thing, Scott. Women want a guy with goals, aspirations, someone that has a future. Even if you're a 21-year-old kid and you have $5 to your name, you can still show that you have goals and you have aspirations, and I want to go to Hawaii next year, and this is what I really want to do, but I'm really passionate about it. I'm showing that passion to her, and she's really she's feeding off of that, and she wants to be part of that. Women want to be part of a guy's life. If you do not have a life as a man, then why would a woman want to be part of it? There's nothing to be part of.
It's not about the money either. There's guys, you have a guy who's a CEO of a major company hiring you, right? It says here on your webpage, because he had everything but the woman. And I've met guys similar to that. The woman isn't attracted so much to a rich guy's money as she is to a rich guy's plan, to his ambition.
Exactly.
To exactly what it is, the metal of his character that made him rich. Mm-hmm. It's almost like drinking is a symptom of alcoholism, right? Mm-hmm. Just like money is a symptom of ambition in the best way possible. If you are a 20-year-old guy and you work for a nonprofit and your mission is to save the world, that will be attractive to women.
Yes.
I've been there. I've been that guy. I've been 23, 24 years old working with gang kids in Arizona, not having a penny to my name, and women thinking it was great. I know firsthand it's true. Mm-hmm. Guys, you be a man who is attractive to himself. I know this sounds so esoteric. But when you go to a woman and you know that you have options, that you're going to respect women, and you know that you're not trying to trick her, you're not trying to deceive her, but you come from a genuine sense of having something of worth to give to a woman. When that woman rejects you, when that woman chews your head off, you say one thing to yourself, well, I just dodged a bullet. TGRR, the golden rule in reverse. If you are good and fair and easygoing and light with your jokes, light with your personality, if you are a fun person to be around and you are genuinely offering those people around you a higher standard of being just by being in your presence, and she chews your head off, guess what? It's not you. It's her. Mm-hmm. And would you ever, this is the golden rule in reverse thing, guys, would you ever treat someone who is being so cool to you so rudely, in such a nasty manner? No, of course you wouldn't. So why let it get in your head if she does it to you? Next is the word you should be using.
Well, I mean, I want to touch on a point there. So many guys are so fearful of rejection. Every guy hates rejection. They're so scared of it. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. If you develop this really strong inner self and you have complete belief in yourself, you're not going to be going up approaching every girl that you see. You're just not going to do it because you're going to be so comfortable in your shoes, and you will have women approaching you when you do go out. And, when you do start a conversation with a girl at a bar, it's just a conversation. You're not sitting there trying to hit on her and pick her up. So what is she going to say? Oh, stop, get away from me, blah, blah, blah. She can't reject you. You're not even hitting on her.
Exactly.
You're not even hitting on her. And, and I have had a couple girls, snap at me and be like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Who said anything about me trying to pick you up or me trying to be attracted? Like, I never even said I was attracted to you. How are you trying to say that, I'm taken? Why would you tell me that you have a boyfriend? What do I care?
And what's the crime of being attracted?
None.
What does it come to? I mean, that is the feeling that some women have, that men are just, no darn good. That's the man-hater mentality. Mm-hmm. All male behavior is bad behavior. We say it time and time again on this show how, we guys have got to not accept that. Mm-hmm. Your sexuality as a man is that which is desirable to a real woman. Two neuter creatures cannot attract each other. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the whole concept behind not having to say, what do I do next is, first of all, let's break it down. We're running out of time. Mm-hmm. First of all, you have to believe that you are, as trite as this sounds, you are the prize. Mm-hmm. You are someone who is valuable to women or, valuable to anybody, really, in your life. Second of all, you're not in a predatory mode towards women. You're just getting to know someone who is interesting to you. Then you don't completely get wadded up in the situation. It's just another human being. Yeah, she looks really good. You got butterflies going on, whatever. That's all natural. Enjoy it. Just like you'd enjoy the adrenaline rush of twisting the throttle on a 170 horsepower motorcycle. It's a lot of fun if you let it be. Mm-hmm. Take away the pain and enjoy the experience. Be in the moment. I love how you say that, Corey, because it's so true. We've got to learn how to just enjoy the fact that there's women, and particularly nice, great-looking, sexy, feminine ones, sharing the earth with us and fill our lives up with it.
I wanted to make a comment on, again, being in the moment, and which I think is a very important thing, and I think it may help a lot of you guys out there. Because how do you be in the moment? Well, just pretend that today was your last day on Earth. Live like there was no tomorrow. I've always lived like that. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. So why are you taking advantage of today? Get your ass out there and make the best of it. If you're sitting at home on your computer expecting some absolutely beautiful girl to come knocking on your door, it's not going to happen, guys. And that's a huge issue here. Because one thing that I can, talk from experience from my past is, on a Wednesday night, I know it's ladies' night down at the ale house. And, I worked all day. I'm super tired. I worked 10 hours and I'm like, I could just stay here and just watch a movie and go to sleep, or I could go out and just take the chance of actually meeting a girl. Well, you know what? What are my chances of meeting a girl if I stay home? 0. So get your ass out there and put yourself into alignment with what you want, guys.
That's right. I'm laughing because I've used the same exact analogy. The guy who's watching Xbox in his basement or in his mother's basement at age 30. And he says, well, someday my own Kristen Kruk is going to walk in here and accept me for exactly who I am. Heidi Klum is just going to walk through the door if she's your type. I'm a Kristen Kruk guy myself. Walk through that door and just accept me the way I am, and, that'll show you.
No.
No,
it's not going to happen, guys.
Got to lead. Got to be proactive. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. I really think we could keep going on and on. And guys, yes, it is a subjective thing because remember, you're getting out of being objective. You're getting out from under having to say, what do I do next? And you're just flowing with this natural, masculine, confident self that you have. And see, a lot of guys want the quick fix. They want the easy out. They want to know what is written that they can use right now to slap a Band-Aid on it and get a woman to talk to them. But you're always going to be left wondering what to do next. Time to take those huggies off, guys, and become a man. It's just like training wheels on a bicycle. You're never going to be able to ride. You're never going to be able to clear 30-foot gaps and go, be a dirt jumper and be in the X Games if you got training wheels. You got to take the training wheels off, and you've got to take the time necessary to stop dealing in Band-Aids, stop dealing in quick fixes, stop being mesmerized by marketing that says you can get laid now, get your lust fed, and get your quick fixes taken care of. Do you know if you go talk to anybody who is really, really effective at writing those advertising pages that you see out there, they're going to say that there are about 5 or 6 hot buttons that all people have that regardless of what they think they want, they're going to go ahead and buy because those hot buttons have been pushed. One of them is lust. Another one is quick fix.
It's the American way.
Are you being had, guys? Do you really want a great woman in your life? Do you want to know how to date 3 or 4 great women and choose the greatest one to be the woman that you build a future with? Is that what you really want? Or do you want to really honestly get laid night after night after night with a different mediocre woman who will accept that lifestyle out of you? Which is it? If you want the latter, more power to you. What you want to be is you want to be a pickup artist. But if you will not settle for anyone less than the most amazing woman you've ever met, then one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to say, well, Scott, Corey, it's really nice you guys get to do that, but I'll tell you, I don't think it's in me. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to reach that level. I'll just be happy, scraping the bottom of the barrel and eating the scraps from under the table. Well, all right. Corey's a natural. Corey's a guy who, you had the cheerleaders in the closet at school at age 13, right? That wasn't me, guys. Okay? But I can talk to Corey. I can listen to what he's saying, and I understand it. I get it. I've been there. I've lived it. I'm 5'7" in shoes, a little bit overweight. I was really dorky and needy when I was younger. I figured it all out. Now I'm married to the greatest woman I've ever met. And you can get this job done, but you're not going to do it with huggies, training wheels, and Band-Aids.
And it will not happen overnight.
And it will not happen overnight, but it damn skippy will happen sooner than you think if you're sitting around saying it'll never happen to me. In my life, after my divorce, it was about 3 months I started seeing real results. And it was painful. And I've said this before, self-help usually fails for most people because they're afraid of not being themselves while they're learning new habits. Authenticity is something you can choose. You're not stuck with all your bad habits for the rest of your life, but you've got to be willing to go through some phases with some awkward turtles swimming around here for a while, guys, because you are learning new habits that are going to supplant the old habits. It's got to be intentional for a while, but once you learn those habits, they stick with you. I used to have a high-pitched, squeaky voice, and I used to talk fast all the time. I intentionalized having a deeper voice, slowing down and enunciating. And, you can still catch me slurring sentences and slurring words even in these podcasts. So you know what I'm telling you is true. But the habit in my life now is very different than it used to be. And you guys will be freed of having to ever ask, what do I do next, when you take the time to build yourself into the authentic man you want to be. Corey, always a pleasure. And, man, have a great weekend.
Thanks, Scott. You too.